So with the weather being absolutely horrendous outside, we thought what better opportunity than to come into the office to check out the next Gemini rig video. In this video, we're going to be running through the components that you'll need to create an entire setup. So that's the entire terminal end of your setup using just the Gemini ready-made components. So for this, what you'll need is you'll need one of their leaders. We've got here a QC swivel leader. So that's the fluorocarbon leader, they're 85 centimeters long with fused loops at each end, and one of those fused loops goes into a QC size 8 swivel. That will then fit inside one of their lead clips. These lead clips have a little pin which locks into the eye of the swivel, holding it in place, and then you've got a selection of tail rubbers in there as well. They'll just fit onto the back of it, holding your lead in place. Just got a little Gemini 3-ounce lead there, just a sort of flat pair sort of design. That will go onto the lead clip. And finally, to finish off the rig, we've got a Gemini tidy rig. These are the runny rigs, and to go onto that, we've also got a tungsten anti-tangle sleeve. Before putting it on, I'll just slide this on, and that'll just create a really nice streamlined setup, which you can basically use anywhere that you go fishing. So there's not a lot of products that you need there. And this will basically have a setup which you can use on pretty much any water all around the country. So if you're the sort of angler that's not very confident in tying their own rigs up, don't like to make your own leaders, you're not confident in tying rigs, you can get these products and just assemble them really, really simply to ensure that you've got a setup which you can rely on. So let's get into it. Right, let's begin. So to start off, I'll take my leader out of the packet. Really, really nice bits of kit, these fluorocarbon leaders. All that you need to do is just unravel them like that. Can often be worth as well running them over a kettle just to really sort of stretch them out. So I'll just get that on the baiting needle, give it a quick stretch, and you'll see it goes nice and limp there. So as I mentioned, they're 85 centimeters long, 45 pound fluorocarbon, and you've got a fused loop at each end, just like the tidy rigs do. And on this end, you've got a size 8 QC swivel. So the next step is to take one of the lead clips and a tail rubber out of the package. There you go. And these lead clips, as I mentioned, have got a little pin. So I'm just going to poke the pin out. So you can see there it's got a little hole that runs through it. And you've got a little T-shaped pin which holds it in place. So I will get a gate latch needle, pop the loop of the fluorocarbon onto the hook and put the latch over, and then just pull the lead clip onto the fluorocarbon leader, and then follow this up with doing the same thing with the tail rubber. Pull that into place as well. I'll then pull the barrel of the swivel into the lead clip, and if you look very carefully through, you'll see that the eye of the swivel goes through the lead clip, passes that little hole, and then you can see all the way through again. So what you just need to do now is take the T-shaped pin, pop it through the hole, and just push it into place, and that sits nice and flush into the lead clip. And what you'll see is that this actually locks the swivel in place. Now that's really important when you want to be able to drop your lead, because you need that lead clip to be able to sit stationary on the line, so that when something pulls and your lead's jammed, it can actually pull off that arm of the lead clip. So next what you do is you've got your lead, and just feed that onto the arm of the lead clip before moistening the lead clip and just gently pushing the tail rubber on. Now, these lead clips have a number of little notches, and that just adjusts how much tension is required to be able to pull the lead off the lead clip. I generally, in most situations, like the lead to be able to come off if there's a fair bit of tension there, so I'll just sort of push it on about halfway along. If I'm fishing weedier waters, I'll only just put it on so it comes off really easily, and waters where there's no snags, it's just like a silty lake bed, there's no weed or anything like that, you can just pop it on about halfway, and that shouldn't come off unless that lead gets jammed in something. So that's your lead setup, pretty much ready to go. Really, really nice and simple. Next step, take one of your tidy rigs. These come supplied in packs of 2. They're stuck to this little piece of card with a little bit of sticky material, so I'm just going to take that off. Pop the other one off as well. Perfect. So that rig is ready to go. All that you need to do is put the bait on and it's ready to be used. But first what I'm going to do is I'm going to get an anti-tangle sleeve, feed that down onto the hook link, and it's just really going to streamline the rig and make it a lot more resistant to tangles. So again, I've gone with the gate latch needle, pop the loop onto the hook, close the latch over and just pull that tungsten anti-tangle sleeve down onto the hook link. Take your lead clip and just pop your rig onto the QC swivel that's on there. Then finish things up, you can then just pull that anti-tangle sleeve up onto the QC swivel, and you can see there that the finished rig is really nice and neat. That anti-tangle sleeve makes sure that hook link is always well away from the main line during the cast, so you're not getting tangles, and it also means that when that lands in the water, that rig is kicked out forward so that your rig's always lying on the other side to your main line from where the lead is. So it's a really, really resistant rig that you don't get any tangles with. And then the final step is to just put your hook bait on and you're ready to go. So I'm just going to get a nice small little pop up here, pierce it on with a baiting needle, get a little bit of bait floss, pop the bait floss through the micro ring swivel there, slide the hook bait down partially onto the barrel of the micro ring swivel, trim that down, and using a lighter just blob that floss to secure it all in place. That rig will need to be just checked in the margin to make sure that that hook bait balances out nicely with the rig. Often it will do when you've got a Ronnie rig with the swivel on as well, but if it's a little bit too buoyant, you can always wrap a little bit of putty around the fused section on the loop. But there it is, that rig is ready to go, ready to be cast out into the lake. You're not really going to get any tangles with it, and you can fish it pretty much anywhere where you've got a nice presentable lake bed. So there you go. If you're not into tying your own rigs, you don't have the confidence to type your own leaders and your own hook link sections, or you simply just want something that's really, really simple, quick to put together so you can get fishing in a hurry, then these are a great option to go with.